Oh, really? You've been rolling?
It's at 1:30, so not
Oh,
long.
I thought it was good. So we got us the not Kool-Aid man.
And
I
me
think the
coughing on a
levels
doob.
weren't there yet. Definitely got the coughing. I don't think the levels were there yet.
Okay, so to catch up our listeners, the Detroit Lions hired a head coach named Matt Patricia. He was later found out to have definitely committed sexual assault by breaking down a woman's hotel room with a friend.
It was in college, which, as we all know, doesn't count.
The sequel to Definitely Maybe. Probably Maybe.
Yeah, it's an Oasis album about this sexual assault, but he broke down the hotel door, so we were thinking how that evokes the classic American imagery of the Kool-Aid man, to which old Brooklyn Ron, he came up with a character.
It's the not Kool-Aid man. Not cool. Hey! No means yes on opposites day.
Like Kool-Aid man, like, breaks through the wall. I'm filled with roofies. It's me, the Cosby cocktail.
Hey, it's me, the uncovered party drink.
Man, we had some uncovered party drinks in here the other day. We are
Right, hold on.
recording.
Yeah, let's kick off the episode. Let's intro our guest. So Joel, all right. So what are we talking about today?
It was the year 1998. People, they passed the time waiting for Segways to be invented, playing with their Duncan yo-yos, and going to the theater to see the Brian Koppelman, David Levine debut, Rounders. I am Joel Walkowski, the Motor City Motor Mouth, Sweet Baby J, coming in you live from my backyard, and we are joined by my producer,
Matt, the Minute Movie Man Anderson, slapping skeeters and dialing knobs coming at you.
and our guest this week, one of my oldest friends in comedy, one of my oldest friends, period. I think he's 100. Brooklyn Ron Krasnow. How we doing?
Hi, listeners. Thanks for having me, Joel and Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for being here.
I'm going to get attacked by mosquitoes.
So yeah, we are going to be attacked by mosquitoes. And there's a 95-year-old senile woman who lives in that window, and she might chime in.
She might
I imagine
That's great. I mean, I've got a mic close to that window, so I will certainly make sure that she's on.
I feel like a Muppet, like an old lady Muppet would pop out now.
Were you here? I grilled back here, and then she came and she said like she was allergic to barbecue smoke, and she like started fake coughing.
Oh no!
And I called her on it. I said that's not real, and then she gave me some frozen juices.
So you made out like a bandit.
Like a bandit. Everyone who lives in this building is like in the same family.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
So it's a whole family and Joel.
Yeah, well, there was this drunk guy. I think he was straight, but a guy was leaving his apartment. Well, last week I saw this chair on the curb, and I texted Gabby, we want this chair? And I carried it home, and I locked myself out because I'm not used to the new locks. And so I just sat on the curb, and this guy finally came to let me in. A guy was with him. The guy left, and then he like talked to me about real estate. I am a broker. If anyone needs in Brooklyn, I'll be happy to help. And then he tried to sell me a watch.
Did you buy it?
No.
What was he asking for it?
I didn't let it get that far down the road. He's like, do you need a watch?
For sale?
No.
The number of Joel Walkowski stories I've heard that start with I saw a chair.
Yeah.
I do like... it was disheartening. Like I could lift the chair. People were very impressed by the lift, but it became a finesse lift when moving it into the apartment, so I couldn't do it. I would have had better luck moving a couch than an armchair, given the dimensions of this hallway.
Yeah, so you really showed your neighbors what you were made of on the 4th of July here, right?
Yeah, we had about 70 people in this yard. Brooklyn Ron and I took mushrooms, and we went into a hammock, and I got pretty fucked up, but I had a great time.
I stayed relatively cool.
Your brownies with just like 3 mushroom caps, it did it for me.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But I don't think I embarrassed myself. I told someone I loved their comedy, and that's been my like, oh damn it moment.
I was hit upon by a young lady who I showed my age and marital status, and then shunned her and hurt her feelings, and she ran away, never to be heard from again.
Yeah, you said you did the Heisman.
Well, she basically said, I'd like to be your friend, and gave me her phone, and I have no idea what any of those things mean.
By giving her the Heisman, he means he married her, then killed her when she hooked up with a waiter.
You were addicted to alcohol, and now you're in the Canadian Football League. Money Ron.
I would do like a 3-year stint in the Canadian Football League.
Oh yeah,
Like, I'd be a Rough Rider.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still buying Johnny Manziel's stock. I think he'll.
I would not buy that stock.
Yeah.
There's our first.
There's a firework.
Firework and or
Tilly.
gunshot.
Sorry for those of you who heard that. We are coming to you live from the Country Music Festival in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining me as my guest, the Lone Wolf, Stephen Paddock.
Pew pew pew.
Man, that was probably the only. I believe that might have been a false flag.
No, I'm pretty sure it happened.
Okay. You just never heard anything about this, Paddock? There's no videos of him going into the casino?
Oh boy,
I don't know if
Joel's
that's
been
true.
Watching a lot of conspiracy
I don't know if any of
videos.
those things that you're saying right now are true.
Listen, if you guys aren't going to bed each night looking at Reddit conspiracy theories,
Ask questions
I'm
about your
guessing
government, okay? What
that-
are they telling us?
I'm guessing if you're not doing that, you're not watching the Great White concert video before you lose consciousness.
No, if I'm on Reddit, I'm on our NBA, our Boston Celtics, or our Gone Wild couples.
There.
Oh yeah, I made it, dude. It was
the
a
wild card.
It was. I don't think we mentioned this on the pod, but it was the highlight of my life. I made the top of NBA Reddit the other day.
Yeah,
Did you really?
Yeah. You didn't see that?
Yeah, you tweeted
No.
a photo.
I tweeted-
that
Oh,
had
yeah,
his
sure,
credit
no, of
card
course I saw
info
that.
in it.
I tweeted a photo. My girlfriend and I were the beautiful Gabby Garcia. We're bickering over how to decorate the apartment, and I feel like it's finally time to hang some of my good Detroit Pistons memorabilia. At the old place, I only had room for the Lions stuff.
That's two.
We are coming to you live from Columbine High School. And I wanted to hang these framed photos of Dennis Rodman, Ben Wallace, and
The
Rasheed
Worm.
Wallace. Players who I feel like I can emulate. That's why they get that preference.
Mhm.
And Gabby said no. So I tweeted this picture to Ben Wallace, like, yo, my girlfriend won't let me hang these. Why should we put these up? And he's like, yo, those deserve to go up. Also, your girlfriend's credit card is in the photo.
Yeah, delete.
Yeah, I put it up with the caption, now Ben Wallace defends against identity theft. It was a real hit.
Yeah, you got some nice link karma.
In fairness, many, many years ago, Joel and I did a Man on the Street video for a show, and we got a guy's social security number.
Really?
And then,
Yeah.
And then it went on the air?
well, I mean, the air, like on our show, yeah. At Yield, if you were at the creek in the cave, you could have taken this guy's soch.
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube, too.
It might be out there.
That's
It might be out
great.
there.
That's great. Man, some go-getter is at a comedy show. He deserves, support live comedy. Get a free social.
I mean, really, it's just, how dare you walk through McCarran Park?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to make Man on the Street videos. Have you ever done that, Matt?
I'm actually working on a project coming up. I'm going to be doing stuff on the 20th.
Are you going to be the man on the street?
No, I'm just running the camera, So I'm getting ready with some nice snap zooms.
Oh,
you know?
those are very important.
Yeah, I'm gonna have an SM58. I'm gonna have a wireless transmitter for that, and we're gonna go to the iconic New York spots.
SM38, as you guys know, is better than MS13.
Hell yeah! I
Political humor.
love good gear humor. That's great.
I would actually love to see you as the kind of comic foil in a Man on the Street piece. You're so polite, you just end up doing strangers' chores.
Yeah.
You want me to do the dishes and the laundry? Sure thing.
Yeah, oh my god.
Joke's on you. You leave just like a sparkling apartment.
I think that would be great. I'd do that.
Let's do it. Well, you don't know Ron that well. Maybe we could do it with Ron.
Honestly, no.
All right. Well, we're derailing this.
By the way, that's from my improv talent of no
And no.
and no. I will end a bit.
Famous
I'll end it.
improv school of and no. Okay, we're here to talk about a movie. We've avoided it for as long as we can. Brian Koppelman. I know you guys are both Billions fans. It's great to see that where it all started, right?
And we are here to talk about Rounders.
Right.
So, Rounders came out in 1998. Its run on HBO kind of gave it a second life.
Sure.
And it's credited with starting to help start the poker craze.
Absolutely.
And it's Matt Damon's first performance as a movie star. And I think really this...
Really?
Yeah. Well, like he'd established himself, and then this is him like...
Was that before or after Mr. Ripley?
This was before. This was the first thing that was a Matt Damon vehicle, I
Okay.
believe.
What about Good Will Hunting?
Well, Good Will
Came
Hunting
out
was first.
Yeah, but that's like...
But-
that's
right,
how he
that
made
break-
his name.
right.
Oh, so this came out before Saving Private Ryan as
Yeah,
well.
that came out with Good Will Hunting. Then this was the first, like, boom, it's a Matt Damon project, baby.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, yeah,
Because,
yeah.
like, Matt Damon wasn't cast by anyone. Like, after Koppelman and Levine sold the script, they were told by Harvey Weinstein,
Nice guy.
this Matt Damon is playing this role. They were also told, get in this bathtub. I'm going to penetrate you with a cigar. God damn it.
Yeah, he's a handsome guy, you know.
I can never get past the jerking off on a plant thing.
Really?
That's the Weinstein?
Yeah, that's
He jerked off on a plant.
on a yeah, like while like harassing an actress, he was just like, okay, now let me just finish right here and J-O right on this ficus. Because, I like fauna and flora.
It thinks it's water. it's gonna use my cum and its nutrient because it thinks it's water.
Hybrid. I'm making a hybrid fern.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
man.
weird. He just ended up growing a Jewish plant, and no one was happy at all.
So, all right, Weinstein's attached. We got it in. He's attached to everything, though.
Yeah, that's the the real problem with the indie boom of the 90s.
Yeah.
Is that everything great has his dirty cum hands all over it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's
It has his thumbprint on it, and that thumbprint will later be used in a police investigation.
that was good to separate the producer from the movie.
And really,
you know?
just in my life, I don't know, like, it's fun to kind of look at these movies looking back 20 years, but this movie kind of stayed in the public. We are coming to you live from Marvin Gaye's birthday party with his father.
This is great. This is a fun bit.
That's
Post 4th of July.
I don't know if you know this, Joel, but that's how he died.
Man, what a gimmick.
What is going on?
Yeah, now that we've done it, I've got 2 ready to go. I've got the next 2.
Okay.
Well, never mind. They're repetitive. They're reductive. So I've got the next one. I got to choose which one's better.
Man, I was so glad we got to
got
bring
it.
up the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand on the pod. And but really, like, this is a movie I think stayed in the public consciousness thanks to my main man, Bill Simmons. Like,
Pour some out for Bill.
he used this as column bases. He used it as a frequent reference, and it kind of stayed in like the 18 to 35 male demographic for a long time.
Yeah, it was the first movie to really make poker seem awesome.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I'd ever seen Hold'em, Texas Hold'em. And I'd been a home game poker player
5-card?
from high school, doing 5-card or 7-card.
Yeah.
And the variation of different home games. You Chicago, you baseball.
You play for like change and like a pot limit with like family members and stuff.
With like my dad taught me how to play. He would he would look at me and he'd say, ask me, and I'd go, okay, stud, and he'd go, don't mind if I do. And it was a dad sex joke, because stud also means to like put an animal out to stud. It does some fucking.
Yeah, but he is kind of a stud though.
My dad looks like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, and he's like a 75-year-old.
81.
81, and is just a softball legend.
Yeah,
up
still
in Boston.
still hits screaming line drives. There's an article about him in Wall Street Journal.
I'm
Link
coming-
to it in the bio.
I'm coming to you live from the site of the assassination of JFK.
Really? That was the one you.
Yeah, I
You thought of
changed
that
it
in
mid.
advance
I
that
changed it midway. I was trying to do
First of all,
MLK.
wait a second. Wait a second. First of all, you called your shot.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, I deserve to
Ladies
take
and
a
gentlemen,
beating for
I've
this
got
one.
this.
That's like
I'm
boy.
here to save the day. Watch as I walk off this cliff.
that's like
I guess.
What was that? Jason Williams, former center of the New Jersey Nets. Now that's a joke.
looks like he's tipping his limo driver again. And these aren't even going to pick up on the pod, huh?
I think so. I think it
Yeah,
plays.
we have so many fireworks going off in the background. It's hard not to feel like we are coming to you live from the midnight screening of Dark Knight Rises as visited by James Holmes.
Like I'm definitely old enough, but I think there's just too many for me to go out there and wag my finger at them like an old white dad.
Yeah, I'm having so much fun making these references. I'm now anti-gun control. Oh, yeah, in defense of all the mass shootings in this country, it's kind of funny to joke about.
Man, you don't know what Bushwick was like back in the 18s.
Man,
Yeah,
we just took a
You got
detour to
me.
Riff City, bitch. How we
Yeah.
doing? So we're talking Rounders, and before we get any further into it, Matt, you want to hit us with a 1 minute synopsis of the film?
Yeah. Okay. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. So Matt Damon has this like bitch girlfriend who won't let him play cards, right? And then his friend Worm gets out, and I don't know why they call him Worm. I don't know why he likes to be called Worm. But Ed Norton is Worm, and he's a bad guy who, he's getting him back into trouble. He said he was going to quit cards forever, and now they're doing their little poker tricks on games, and they're cheating, and their poker's looking fun. It's Texas Hold'em. The movie's just littered with terminology and phrases, and they even play clips from like the 1988 World Series of Poker featuring Seidel and Johnny Chan, and this guy Teddy KGB, they owe him money, and he wins. Matt Damon wins a big poker game at the end, heads up against Teddy KGB, which is kind of just a bad accent.
It's a terrible Russian accent.
But it's a fun performance. Like, it was just so fully embodied.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, just give Malkovich the ball and let him run with it as a Russian. Like, no one
Yeah.
goes to John Malkovich.
It doesn't subtract, and he's got a great tell. My favorite tell in all of poker. He'll split his cookie and then eat it in front of you when he has a good hand. What a tell.
Have you ever put a cookie back, though?
Right.
Never.
When you have a poor hand, you put the cookie back.
Once the cookie's in your hand, it's going mouth side.
Right.
It's never getting put back together.
And, you don't want to eat cookies near a poker table. Like, I gamble, and, you don't want to have sweets when you gamble.
It was neat, though, because the cookies were in there like chips. Like, they were in the check trays as, a stack of chips, where $2,000 would sit. We had, 6 Oreos.
But you don't think that's an obvious tell? Like, wouldn't he have been able to figure that out?
Right. What do you got?
Okay, so the stakes
Down goes John Lennon. I think Freddie KGB was a very unsuccessful poker player because of the bowl of Cheetos next to his.
Like, these Russian guys keep finding excuses to use their tongues. I don't know what's going on.
How did you learn how to play poker? Your dad taught you.
Yeah, my dad taught me.
I don't really know how to play. I played in a game 2 weeks ago. I know I give myself the bill, the professional gambler, but it's truly just sports betting.
I'm a decent poker player. I can hold my own.
Same. Well, I haven't played in years.
Used to do a weekly game when I lived in San Francisco, and I won more than I lost.
Yeah, you just need to be able to pay attention to stuff to play poker, and that's not among my blessings.
How do you play? Do you play loose and aggressive, or are you tight and aggressive?
One, I don't drink.
Okay.
So that makes playing poker really easy.
Right.
Yeah, but you're
like one of those,
there.
Yeah, but stoned poker playing is way different.
Right. It's easier to
'cause it slows you
calculate.
down.
Yeah, because you can still concentrate.
Right.
And figure out what's going on. When you're drunk, you get too loosey goosey.
Mhm.
I'll play sort of opposite of the table.
Oh, okay. You're just going against the grain,
Yeah,
but still.
but usually I play
aggressive. Is like
yeah,
the main
when
key
I
to a good
have
player.
power hands, I'll play them hard.
Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty tight and aggressive. Joel, like I don't understand why you don't play poker.
My father figure was just a little bit non-traditional, so he didn't teach me any like traditionally masculine things. You know?
Are you kidding me? He was just on Facebook holding the largest snake skin I've ever seen with the help of 2 people. It was 3 people to hold a snake skin.
Yeah, but he's
Shout
like,
out to Bob Wilkowski.
we have gambling in our family, so it never really got pitched to me at all.
Yeah, we have psoriasis in mine.
Yeah, I found it on my own. Like my uncles worked at the bar that Alex Karras was gambling at. Like
George Papadopoulos.
Like I come from this long line of Polish monsters where everyone just lived with their mom and gambled away their paycheck every week. So yeah, they weren't introducing me to poker in my house.
Huh.
So
Well-
I've definitely played a few times. It's a fun game. I've won some
Yeah.
hands.
My friends got into it. Like that was like at the internet boom of poker. You remember free roll pokers?
Sure.
You could enter these free rolls where like 20,000 people would enter, but like the top 10 players got paid. So it was like astronomical odds of ever winning. But like we did it every night, and we just get drunk and play online poker as a group of friends. And like we eventually like started winning money, and like I've actually won like some pretty big online tournaments.
I had to
Oh,
stop
wow.
doing. I had to stop doing online poker because I would be drunk, and that's different. Drunk on your desktop in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
that was not a safe place to be.
It was great. There's no tells. You could just go. You could stand up at your computer and be like, "All in, bitch," and it's just like little numbers changing.
yeah,
you know?
it was really dangerous.
What's
But
the
I
most
won,
you
like-
guys won?
I won $1,300 on a $10 tournament once. So that meant I was playing for like 9 hours, and I was just like I won a lot of like crazy hands, and I took third in this huge tournament of like
Right
$10
before I
entries.
moved out of San Francisco, my little poker group literally kidnapped me, threw me in a van, and took me to a poker room, and everyone gave me $20. So I had like $120 plus my other cash to like, we're all gonna play poker. So it was like 6 of us, and we're like, there because poker rooms are legal in California.
Oh, cool.
And there was one.
Are
Just
they
at-
businesses or just like you can run?
Oh no
one?
no no! It's a business.
Your license, like
Oh sure. It's a
Yeah.
The dealers are getting they get a cut of the
rake?
Of the rake.
Yep.
Oh, I
had
can't remember if we paid a fee to get in. That I don't remember.
I had a great worm quote from this movie. Women are the rake of life, man. They're the fucking rake. When his
You know that
girlfriend-
quote? Yeah, it's not a quote.
yeah. It's like they don't say that.
But so there are I think 6 of us, and we went in there like we are gonna own this joint. And I think within like 25 minutes, we were all cleaned out except for one dude.
Yeah. So
And
you're
then it just-
watching.
And then there's like 4 of us sitting in the back of a van drinking like lukewarm Rolling Rocks, having a grand old time.
yeah, let's go get some Chinese food.
Yeah, exactly. We went in there like, we're going to take this joint down. We did not take that joint down.
Yeah. And the last guy that was still playing probably drove.
Oh, he busted too.
Oh.
No, I mean, everyone was drinking. No one
Oh.
gave a shit.
Okay,
Wow,
okay.
I didn't realize I was doing this pod with 2 significant poker players. What's the most you guys ever lost?
I think maybe I put into online poker like $500 total before I lost. So I'm like up lifetime in poker. I've lost all my money, like 15 line, 9 line slots, like casino dumb shit.
I think I've definitely lost more money in blackjack
Yeah.
than in poker.
You've had some bad losses, right?
I think 750 was my biggest. Like, there was. You know what? I went to Vegas. I've been to Vegas once for a bachelor party, and I lost my first wager and never made it back to even.
That's not even
That
fun.
I was just everything lost. It was just lose. I was at the like, I'm gonna bet $50 now. I bet 50 on this hand, and it was just like lose, double down. Okay, lose. Just everything was just awful.
I've been there. I'm a terrible gambler. Like you guys Remember when we did that like Super Bowl viewing party and everyone came to Union Hall?
Sure.
And I was doing really well betting in the NFL postseason, and I just told everyone like, I'm gonna bet the whole bankroll on the Super Bowl, and I bet on the Carolina Panthers, who lost by about 30 points.
Oh no! So how much is that?
Yeah, and then
What was the bankroll?
I lost $965.
Oof.
I lost $600 on the Martin Luther King Day massacre of 2017. That's where.
Wait, you bet on Martin Luther King Jr. to not get hit?
Bet on that?
I just thought Memphis had a unbiased police force.
James O'Reilly was a heavy favorite that day.
It's amazing that we're so blessed as a country that Martin Luther King didn't get brought up during that gunshot riff. We're doing all right.
That was the one I changed. I originally thought of MLK and I changed it midway to JFK.
Oh, because you were afraid of the backlash?
Why don't you just take it in the middle and go with RFK?
So yeah, we all
Bobby.
We all like gambling. There's a romance to like games of chance. And what Rounders really does well is it captures why people are drawn to it. There's been films about gambling made previously, like The Gambler famously, but that has like the gritty portrayal of like what happens at the end. What I think makes this an interesting movie is like it shows that degenerate professional gambler on the ride in, like what brings him there.
Yeah, that's why I think there's the common thread that Joe, played by Gretchen Mol, was a wet blanket and ruins the movie. And on this viewing, I looked at it from a very different angle, and I actually was totally behind her in what she was looking for from Mike McDermott. You can't blame a woman who's like in law school planning to like be a lawyer and be an officer of the court and go on and try to have like a successful life in New York, and she's gonna be with this guy who, hey, tomorrow I might be fat fucking broke because because I brought
terrible
both Cowboys and the other guy at Aces.
Yeah, I mean, it does show this gritty underbelly of New York gambling that makes it look kind of alluring. But there is this B storyline with Joe, as played by Gretchen Mullen. Was that Martin Landau as his
professor,
as his law professor? Martin Landau, I thought it was kind of interesting, like. He gives him this speech like, everyone in my family was a rabbi, and I chose to never become one, but it was never a choice.
And he was disowned.
And, like, he encourages him.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think, like, they did kind of set up the other, like, Gretchen Mol to be the counterbalance, but Matt Damon is just such a likable actor that, like, she just seems like she's nagging Matt Damon.
But she's right, but she's not, because even at the end, at the end, when, like, he knows who he is, which is great, right? That's sort of the point of the movie, is him understanding that he's not a lawyer.
Yeah,
he is a poker player.
Yeah, and he's John Turturro.
It's through him saying shitty things to her, being like, "I've never felt alive until I played last night."
Yeah,
and
for
like,
someone who's so guarded on the poker table, who knows? Everyone knows not to let that out in like a relationship.
Yeah,
like when a girl asks, like, "How was your mushroom trip?" It's like, "Oh, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life." They only hear like, "I had a good time without you."
Yeah.
So that's like that just makes me seem like Matt Damon had never had a girlfriend before.
Yeah, like I thought she started nagging. Like the way it was kind of written is like she started off. Like,
well, don't forget he'd lost
Exactly.
3 high societies.
Yeah, the movie opens with Matt Damon losing $30,000.
Yeah,
which I don't think that could happen for him now.
And he had the third best hand. So in that hand, he had the third best hand. So he was like absolutely sure he was going to win. That's crazy to bet $30,000 with the third best hand.
Yeah.
You know? That I still can't get over it. Your head's up.
Well, remember, he thinks he can read better, right? He thought he had Teddy KGB perfectly read.
The KGB, yeah. And Teddy, when he won that hand, he didn't even make sure that Matt Damon didn't have the best hand. He had the second best hand. You know, he had pocket aces, giving him a full house, and Matt Damon could have had quads. He could have had quad nines. Sorry.
Yeah, but, you do kind of just cheer for Matt Damon. like Ron, you did that script reading job, right?
Sure.
Like we read screenplays for the Slam Dance Film Festival screenwriting competition, and the one note I give every script is lose the voiceover narration. You don't need it. But like right from the jump, this is the rare instance where I think voiceover just adds so much to the movie.
Yeah, you need it because there's so much of that world that people are unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
So you need the audience needed to be guided through just the simple rules of the game.
Yeah.
And sort of the history and the mystique of it.
Yeah, he's giving you know the explanation for like why things are happening on the table, so it kind of corresponds to all those quick little shots of like dealing and like the chip tricks where they're signaling across each other, you know, so you could see how two people could work together
and like
just crush.
Let's look at this scale. Is there a movie with a better first 10 seconds?
Yeah, it opens strong.
Within your first half
Produced
hour.
by Harvey Weinstein. You're absolutely right.
Like that quote at the beginning, like, look around for the sucker at the table. If you don't see them, it's you.
Right,
Like, it's so powerful right from the back. And then it has this great montage of the poker game. And, you know, what's cool about this movie to me is that it's about, like, this seedy underbelly of New York. But there's a great artistry that they brought to it, and they thought about it to match that aesthetic. Like, the photography, like every gambling thing is associated with like Vegas glitz glamour.
Yeah.
But they based the photography in this film off like a Flemish painting style. And then just the dialogue alone, even going back to that first line, it's just wonderfully written. And you can see that Koppelman and Levine like signature that they've been
That is
going off
Lenny
of.
Clark as one of the players, right? One of the regulars.
Yeah, Lenny Clark.
I'm dying to know what cutting room footage of Lenny Clark riffing exists.
Yeah.
Which player was he?
So he was one of the guys that also went down to Atlantic City.
Okay.
He had almost no dialogue in the movie whatsoever, which is insane because Lenny Clark's one of the funniest comedians ever to come out of Boston. And he's one of those guys where I'm sure there's hours of him just like rah, 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 rah.
And Lenny Clark had a cool career because he made a career. He's like now a known character actor.
Yeah.
Just off like
The accent.
movie set in Boston trying to seem authentic.
Oh.
Or it's a Dennis Leary picture.
Did you guys have any favorite characters in this? Like I have secondary characters. I liked really Knish.
Oh wow!
The grinder. You know, we have the guy that's trying to teach Matt Damon not to lose his stacks.
The thing that I liked about this movie is also very efficient. Every character did something. No one was dead weight to it. So like all the other players were awesome. Like the principal from Billy Madison is another poker player.
Yeah. One of the two Russian guys that Worm doesn't lose the money back to is ended up on ER in the later seasons.
Yeah, Dexter's coworker plays the game, and I swear I know like this.
Angel.
Yeah, Angel was in there.
Angel shows up. I believe that his name is Otto. He's a cop. That's a great scene. I think that's that might be like the most exciting scene of the whole movie, right? Where it's they're playing, they're on the run to make the 15 grand back. And Mike and Worm are they're grinding, and Worm is following orders like he's supposed to, but you know that's gonna fucking change.
Mm-hmm.
And he tricks him into the Binghamton run, and he's playing at a table full of stadies, and in he walks again, and you're like, oh fuck, fuck. And it's just like, you know, something's bad is going to happen. And just like from that moment on, when Mikey first starts ditching cards, it's great.
Yeah.
You really, like, you felt that emotion so well. They set you up for the punch there, and they just really landed it well.
Yeah, and they deserve it too. You know, if you were at a poker game where you were losing like $300 a person to these two rando dudes, wouldn't you guys want to beat the shit out of that person?
No, I'm a pacifist.
Yeah, but
I would just sternly lecture them, and I would hope they would do the same to me.
Yeah, and Worm kind of exists to show like he's another character in this world. Like I think if Matt Damon's character didn't have the same discipline, he could turn out just like him. But Worm had some fun scenes. This was in the run where like Edward Norton was in prison in every movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is the mid to late 90s. Ed Norton was just hitting home run after home run. because his what's the Richard Gere one?
Primal Fear.
He's amazing in it.
One of the best debuts.
It's not a great movie, but he's amazing in it. Right? I mean, Ed Norton's one of, all through this was like not. He can be in a not great movie, but destroying it. I mean, American History X, he's amazing in it.
Yeah, he goes to prison in that
Well,
one.
He very much goes to prison in that one.
Yeah, and he's been in prison again. And we kind of dug into this in the American History X episode. But the reason his career tailed off, he was given final cut. So, like, no one wanted to work with him. He was really stubborn.
Oh,
about
he's
how
a
things
prima
needed to
donna.
be. Well, he had control over this story, and no one wanted to give that up to an actor.
Yeah, totally.
Like, only
Who would
5
wanna work with
actors in
that?
history have gotten that or something, and Ed Norton was lumped in with them.
I mean, I think it's one of those things. If you can get it, grab it.
Yeah, and
I don't blame a dude for that.
this is a great part of like early Norton's rise, but because it's sort of a genre movie, it gets lost in it. It doesn't get brought up in the conversation at all.
Yeah, and his character is such a bag of shit that you don't think about how great of a performance it is.
Yeah, I guess it is sort of like ultimately such a watered down version of his American History X character.
Did you like him in the score where he was pretending to be disabled?
No, that movie was horrendous.
And then at the end, you find out he's just like a bank robber.
But this is like it's your first introduction to Worm is fucking over dudes in jail as he's getting out. So right off the bat, you learn this guy has no moral code. He's got no moral
He's willing
fiber.
to get a fucking tattoo of an ace on his sleeve.
Yeah, he's telling you he's a cheat.
Ugh.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm a fucking cheater.
Yeah, and you see he's cheating these guys out of cigarettes, and he throws out the cigarettes.
Right, he doesn't even smoke them. He's just
He's explaining the different games. He's like, I've got the guards I've got to lose money to, so they're nice, and I steal like packs off of the blacks, and then he has the white game where
That's so. If Mike McD is so great at reading people, why does he keep getting suckered in by Worm?
Mike McDee's terrible at reading people. Like he got lucky in that card game.
He bluffed Johnny Chan.
Are you kidding me?
He bluffed Johnny Chan.
He knew that the judge had 2 aces,
oh
two,
my God.
2 twos.
That
and,
scene blows my mind.
That scene's retarded.
Yeah,
He's
he
a
comes
great
in one
card-
hand and he's like, "I'm gonna out bluff everybody. Fuck you."
I know you didn't pull your insight. Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, fuck off.
But he's a great card player, but he doesn't see through any of Worm's bullshit. He sees that he doesn't see that his relationship with Joe is destined not to work, and he thinks it's appropriate to show up at a bathhouse and ask a man for a $15,000 loan.
That was great.
That's not the behavior of someone who's great at reading a room.
I have a question. Is his name Grandma, or is it his name Grammar, but pronounced Grandma?
I think
Because everyone's got either a Boston or a New York accent.
Yeah, for whatever reason, the villain was named Grandma.
That was great.
Yeah, that villain, he's always baking cookies. I wanted to point out that scene was shot like it's in this gritty New York underbelly, but that was shot in the Russian bathhouse by your house.
Oh yeah, nice.
We should go. We should all go. We should
We'll go to
together.
a Rounders field trip. Oh, you know what? I'm going to run a Rounders tour there.
I've been
That's
meaning.
perfect. That's a side hustle.
This is where John Turturro stood.
This is the hot dog stand Ed Norton ate at.
Do you guys remember what John Turturro looks like in a towel?
What about this?
It was right here.
What if we do that? We'll do the John Turturro tour.
John Tortoro.
The John Turturro of the borough.
This is where Turturro plays a Jew. This is where Turturro plays Italian. This is where Turturro plays a Jew.
The
This is
John
where Turturro
Turturro
plays
tour
Italian.
of the top 5 boroughs. So you go where he powdered his feet in the night of. You go to the Russian baths, and I think you could really fill a good 2 hours.
What's your favorite Turturro movie?
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
I was going to say, Oh, Brother, Where Art
That's a
Thou?
good one. Can we pick a dramatic series? I really liked him in The Night Of.
Yeah, The Night Of was
The
sick.
Night Of was so good.
Was very good, especially the pilot. You're like, oof.
Well, Richard Price is one of the greatest writers
Yeah.
alive, and the fact that,
But I have an acupuncturist I could send him to help him with his foot eczema.
yeah, that character was a little close to home for you.
Yeah, I've got psoriasis. Hey, if you're in the New York area and you've got psoriasis, I have an acupuncture recommendation for you. Check the
That
notes of
is
this
interesting.
podcast. We'll put it
Yeah.
in there. I don't know if these guys do that.
No, that's
You
interesting.
can tweet at me if you need it.
Okay.
Dr. Wang!
Getting poked.
What are we at time-wise, Matt?
40 minutes.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So here's a thing that bothered me about the movie. This came out in 1998. Ed Norton's Lester, his nickname is Worm. At no point when he's introduced to anybody does anyone say Worm. What, like Dennis Rodman? No one brings up Rodman. This is the height of Rodman. This is the Bulls winning championships with him. It's Rodman going on Letterman and banging Madonna and
fighting in WCW. He fought Karl Malone at a pay-per-view
and having like a bleached hair. It was crazy. and no one brings up Rodman. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a little suspicious. But maybe it's just like, in this universe, they're all just heartbroken Knicks fans. They're only watching soccer.
Yeah, maybe Ed Norton was really good at rebounding in prison. He played really good basketball.
You're thinking of American History X.
Different Ed Norton.
Dude, in that movie, he's like fucking bawling. I love it.
Yeah, it's shot from so far below. What do you guys think of the rumor that this was based off Norm Macdonald?
That sounds like horseshit.
I don't know. In an interview, they went to like watch some high-end poker games, and that's what they based this off of. And then supposedly Norm was playing in the games.
Well, Koppelman has always been a player. He's always played poker.
Right.
Like he's always from interviews I've heard with him.
And he has a penchant for writing comedians he hangs around with into his writing. Like that character on Billions is a result of him hanging out at Stand Up New York and like finding someone likable and charming on stage. So I wouldn't be surprised if he took elements of Norm. And Norm Macdonald has some crazy gambling stories attached to him.
No, that's called a crazy gambling problem.
I think it's perfectly reasonable, personally.
Depends on if you're winning.
And Norm has some story where he said he threw $400,000 into the ocean so he wouldn't gamble it.
You lost your bet. It's gone. Can we pause real fast?
Sure.
Okay, one sec.
Yes, sir. Go back to eating.
And
I was going to talk about.
We're back.
You know what? Let's take a break. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
I was going to talk about how I got her Lexapro today. Someone at our 4th of July party nicked the bottle, I think.
Aw.
Who steals Lexapro?
Are you serious?
Psycho 20-something?
Yeah.
And I didn't hide any of my prescriptions, which I probably fucking should have.
I'll tell you, if someone stole my Effexor, I would not do well the next day.
So I'm not doing well now because it's like two days after you start to feel it, but 3 days with no Lexapro, you kind of really start going downhill.
Do you have a list of all the people that attended the party that you can slowly whittle down?
You know what? The person who stole your Lexapro is probably the same person who hit on Ron.
It's possible.
They took all that Lexapro. They thought it was like Xanax or something. And they felt like ready to commit to like an obvious dad figure. Ooh, we might be getting a good cameo here.
Ron, what are your thoughts of dad bod?
Like most memes, I found it absurd. There are dads of all shapes and sizes.
Just like there
are big boys and there are skinny boys.
Okay,
you know,
sure. There are even Dr. Big Boys.
And you know what? Dr. Big Boy was actually a woman, you sexist.
All right, we are now trying to podcast while eating pad thai. I'm sure this will go great.
Joel, so you had some specific stuff you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, basil.
Hey, at any point in the movie, did they ever explain? There's no part in the movie when they went, and that's what a rounders is.
Yeah, they explain it like 3 times. They say a rounder is anyone who makes their money playing professional poker. They hustle people.
Making their rounders.
Yeah.
So why is it plural? Why do we...
Because it's not about Mike McD. It's about everyone in that world. Like, the one thing they did well is, like, they didn't waste a single character they brought
rounders
up.
is like Cheers. It's where everybody knows your name.
Can I tell you one sad thing that I found from that movie? Is that Trump Casino got shut down. You know? The Trump Taj.
Oh, is that you being edgy?
What? No, I think it's sad. It's a fine establishment. He gave up control in 2007. He tried to sue them.
Weren't they involved in money laundering multiple times?
Probably. Everything in Atlantic City is touching the Philadelphia mob.
Yeah, once.
No, it wasn't even that, because I know Fred Trump gave or bought $3 million in chips and then left the casino with them and never cashed them in.
Fred Trump.
Yeah, his
That's
dad.
a funny name.
That's Donald Trump's dad.
It sounds almost made up.
I made it up.
Trump
isn't even president. You silly gooses.
You can't look that up. No, he tried to sue them, and he didn't think they were worthy of his name, so he sold it, and then he tried to sue them for having his name on it.
No, that's not what happened. It was he filed for bankruptcy.
Oh,
and
I guess I'm only using the Wikipedia.
And in the bankruptcy hearings, basically for Trump to not have to pay money back, it was like they've got to keep the name on so that it retains its value.
Interesting.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It was real scummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason casinos aren't really around in Atlantic City to the extent now is that union organizers have done a good job with the service industry workforce. So they don't want to invest in that community with there being a strong union presence.
Yeah. It seems like
Also, it's a complete fucking shithole.
I've never been. I asked someone to go to Atlantic City today, and they said no.
Yeah, it's not a destination.
It sounds like fun. Isn't it like a trashy East Coast Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is, Built on the mob. You got the boardwalk.
Down by the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Vegas, see, that's where for me, Vegas is a pit of despair and sadness.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
that's not...
You're from Vegas.
No, I'm from Boston.
Oh.
I've been to Vegas once. I just found it horrendously
Sounds like
sad.
someone hasn't ridden the roller coaster.
So what did you have? What did you want to get into in the rounders here, Joel?
I like how they could have gone the cheesy route and made his other poker player, the woman, a object of sexual interest, and they didn't.
Yeah.
I like that they made a lot of effort to establish her as one of the guys and a legit poker player. And I think they didn't have to do that at all in 1998.
The hot Bond girl.
They also could have brought back Worm in a "Hey, I'm safe, don't you worry." And the fact that Worm goes out and we never see him again.
Yeah, it kind of implies he's out of his life. Did you? So he doesn't have sex with the hot girl when she's over at his house collecting money.
Yeah.
And then he throws a tantrum after she leaves, because he restrained himself.
No, because because of all the money, because of the 7 Gs.
I thought he was mad.
That was a worm related smashing.
Okay, I thought that might have been because he didn't have sex. Okay,
no,
you just thought he was horny.
Yeah,
no, it's because she was so tall it made him look short.
Yeah, he was like that Dodger standing on the bubble gum.
Yeah, the apple box.
Now everyone knows I'm 5'8".
Yeah. Nobody would have watched the interview before, but now that we have this behind-the-scenes picture,
that might be the most famous interview since Frost Nixon.
I gotta be honest. There's a real lack of mosquitoes out here, and I'm really excited about that.
They're around, but they're not biting.
Are you being sarcastic? Or
I am not. I am. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Well,
I'm bare-legged in my shorts.
We're out in my yard in lovely Bushwick, New York, and I've got a nice backyard. But I'm really glad you said that because I've recently put a bat house up in that tree to try and control the mosquito population.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, because bats are misunderstood creatures, and they thrive in urban environments, and they'll find it here.
You know who eat mosquitoes? Is possum.
Ooh, you should make a possum.
They're good.
House.
They're good vermin getters.
I can't go
chickens too.
I've had chickens before, and I can't go after possums without making it seem like I'm taking aim at the possum lady's corner.
You do live in the Schwick, and there is a possum lady's corner.
No, my dad has that good friend, the possum lady. Like you go over, he'll if you go visit my dad, he'll take you over to.
There'll be a link in the this episode description if you want to go visit Bob Wilkowski.
Yeah, if you thought the John tour of the boroughs was a good idea, go to Bloomington, Indiana, and Banjo Bob will show you around. He'll take you over to the possum lady's house, and she'll put you a possum on your head, and then she'll unveil the secret that possums smell fantastic.
You know what? You can also blend that with a breaking away walking tour of Bloomington, Indiana.
Oh yeah, great score.
And man, you could really just
Just cash in.
that bucket list is gonna two boxes filled in.
There you go.
I did kind of want to run through this with you, Matt. Kill some time. Tell us about the kids you killed in the war.
Let's see here. Edward Norton's character Worm really finds his edge. You know, when he
Matt, you run about what, 5 podcasts?
yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
You should be able, you throw it to you for 30 seconds, be ready to go.
Yeah, I've got the stalling bit here where
You could have thrown it to me.
No, let me throw it to my pad Thai.
No, I feel like Matt sometimes smokes before the podcast and then doesn't talk a lot.
That definitely didn't happen this time because I did Mike's podcast twice before.
And
this.
you've been talking.
Yeah. So all right, here's something you probably didn't know about Rounders.
Yeah, give me some Rounders, some fun facts.
This is a movie that I hooked up to with a girl. I forced a girl to watch Rounders, and
I was so nervous when you said I forced a girl.
No, I forced a girl to watch Rounders. She was happy to not watch Rounders.
Do you like films about poker?
Yeah. Honestly, we weren't
She didn't leave
watching it.
2/3 of the way through like Gretchen Mol.
Did the poker
We
help you
weren't
poker?
watching it. It helped in that she was not interested at all in poker, and I think we made out or hooked up with a.
I don't know if that counts as a fun fact about Rounders, though.
I suppose you're right.
I don't think that's on the. Like if I scroll through on the IMDb page,
Yeah.
when it's like fun fact, like Matt Anderson got his pinky stinky
Yeah.
during the third reel.
Sandwiched in between who was going to play the principal roles. I feel like that's all those facts are. Is like who was going to play each character.
I do like that. I'm a big fan of the who was up for the role.
Right.
It's always Drew Barrymore.
She was gonna be the Rounder.
She was gonna be Worm.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. What do you have for us, Joel?
Well, there is
remake Rounders with Cameron Diaz and
Drew
Drew Barrymore.
Oh, there would be a good like woman Rounders, but you still have to make strong male characters.
Rachel McAdams. You put Rachel McAdams as the Mike McD.
Didn't they make female Rounders a few months ago, and wasn't it called Molly's Game?
You know, I
they
still haven't
did.
seen Molly's Game.
Molly-
Yeah,
was
Michael
great.
Cera's
All right,
the
I'll-
other girl.
Oh, okay. I'll watch it. I'll watch it tonight.
There's a famous Bill Simmons column. I'm just a Bill Simmons fanboy.
Yeah, big time.
Where he sums up 25 basketball situations with 25 quotes from Rounders. And I pulled one
When
out.
was this column written? Like
This was
2005?
2001.
2001.
Actually.
Nice.
It came out. No, sorry, I'm wrong. Yeah, 2002.
2002. So post Towers.
Yeah,
You're a pre and post Towers guy. I gotcha.
I wanted to ask.
Where were you when Bill Simmons wrote the Rounders column?
Now, is that pre 9/11 Bill Simmons or just trying to gauge where he was at?
I mean, those are actually good years for him because he's a big U2 fan, and that really set them up to like have a nice Super Bowl performance. If they didn't,
I mean, it's it goes Prince, U2, as far as I'm concerned.
Is Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Tom Petty played Free Fallin'.
No, that
when
was
the Patriots
horrendous.
lost.
Yeah, that was horrendous.
Yeah, take
because
that.
no, that was such a curse.
Yeah, I know. And then we got the Giants. That's where we got Eli Manning.
That sucked.
in the helmet catch.
Down goes Malcolm X.
We are coming to you live from that picture of an Asian guy getting shot real close. No one knows what it's called.
Yeah, it's called the Vietnam War, Joel.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
The picture of the Asian guy getting shot.
No one, yeah.
Yes.
No, I know what you're talking about.
When you say no one, you mean you.
And I okay, while I'm saying, like, speaking of not knowing Asians, I'm pretty sure I saw Ken Jeong as an extra in this movie. In one of the poker scenes, he's just sitting at the table.
Shit, that's a possible.
Because it was probably around the time that he was trying to break into.
Yeah. The timing is fitting.
Yeah,
But would he be a New York guy? Is the question.
Yeah, that was my worry because he
I
seems
thought
like
he's an LA dude.
Yeah, he's definitely a big time LA comic.
Okay, this is
Yeah,
we're on the
coming to you
Israel
live.
Gaza border.
There you
Yeah,
go.
And this
on
is
the
not
other
looking
side,
good.
children are throwing rocks, so it's extremely justified.
Oh, they're not throwing rocks anymore.
Coming to you live from the Hamas training camp.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Everybody.
What movie do you think of when you first think of 4th of July?
Born on the 4th of July.
You don't say
Anti-war movie, baby.
Damn. You don't say Jaws or Zodiac?
Nah, probably Jaws.
Jaws
Yeah.
is good.
I rewatched Jaws last night. It was great.
What did Mr. Simmons have to say in this article?
Simmons used a different quote to describe a different NBA team, which is, again, a sign of, like, pretty awesome dialogue. He's a big fan of this movie. He went on to work with Koppelman and Levine a bunch. But who is this quote about, Brooklyn, Ron?
Let's hear.
I wasn't unlucky. I got outplayed. I got outplayed that time, but I know I'm good enough to sit at that table.
This is 2002.
Yeah. So basically, someone who's not good enough to sit at a table, but will be soon.
This
Is
is
that
an
Mr. Paul?
NBA
Is
team, right?
that the truth, Mr. Paul Pierce?
No. Eduardo Nahara.
Oh boy.
The first Mexican to play in the NBA. The quote, it's Eduardo Nahara, Jamal McGlure, Marcus Pfizer. That's
Oh man,
pretty rough.
I loved Marcus Pfizer.
I'll find one.
Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State. Well, he was like a 6'5" chubby power forward.
Yeah, there were a bunch of those guys in that era that I absolutely loved, and none of them did anything.
How did that article start? He's like, we all own rounders, right, boys?
Yeah.
It's like, why don't you all pop in this 3-year-old movie?
Okay, one more. Yes, he's going all in. Johnny Chan, the master.
And what a line from the movie. Just quoting the announcer.
Okay, that's Tim Duncan, but this one he does a good job
I
with.
have a question though. Hold on a second. Was Johnny Chan's check bluff really such a master stroke of pokerdom?
Yeah, I caught the nuts, heads up. If I bet the minimum amount they could fold, of course I'm going to check.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like the craziest of play.
Right.
So what, he suckered the other guy in to think he had a good
Yeah.
hand?
Yeah. Basically, well, you suckered him into thinking he had a poor hand, and then the guy went all in against, what he should have done.
I think if he limped in he gets the same effect.
Mm.
Right? He limps in with the table minimum. How is that? Oh, that's gonna tell Seidel he knows.
Yeah. What's a good hand in heads up? You're supposed to be way more loose, right?
Yeah.
Like Jack 9, you're supposed to bet and stuff pre-flop.
I'm a huge fan of any connector.
Oh, okay. Heads up.
Yeah.
Because you're playing against only one other player, so you want to be way, way more aggressive.
Heads up is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Your heart rate goes
Mm-hmm.
flubbity.
Yeah.
Flubbity.
And it becomes a dick contest.
Yeah.
Because
It's because it's really like
way
the
more
stacks
skill involved.
and stacks the guy whose stack is bigger can become a real bully.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's basically you need to when you're short stacked, it's fold until you get all in,
Yeah.
and then try to rebuild your little stack.
Right.
And big stacks just trying to push you all in constantly.
Yeah, and I think Seidel was short stack, so it wasn't even that crazy of a play.
Are they both legendary poker players?
Yeah,
Both of them
yeah.
are well-known poker players.
And
Chan,
Seidel's had a much better career.
yeah, Chan I would say is more known, but Seidel is probably
Chan more known because of this movie?
Probably.
Yeah, the movie in combination with like they covered him more during the World Series of Poker.
So Seidel was just like, man, why'd they pick that clip?
Yeah, I mean, because Seidel's one of those guys who, like, he's won bracelets in like a bunch of different style of poker.
Yeah.
Like, and I think he may have been a mathematician. I forget what his background was, but he was like a fucking genius.
Yeah.
And was playing.
They either play the piano or like studied math at MIT. Or...
Yeah, there were a bunch of those guys, and it's different now. Like, that was the thing about the internet poker,
right?
That really changed.
Chris Moneymaker,
yeah,
2004.
What if you win a poker tournament? It's so for cash. Is there a trophy involved?
Yes.
Yeah.
And a large stack. They like put all the money on the table in like cold hard cash, and it kind of forms like a little like a picture like a grocery store display of money where they kind of stack it.
Oh, that's just,
and it's just
beautiful.
Like it's like this like little mound of money, and then they have a huge trophy, and then they also have like jewelry that goes with it. So
it's a bracelet. It's not like a trophy of the wife and kids you left behind.
It's a bracelet. What if it was a necklace?
I'd like to know the comp rate of sober comedians to sober poker players. Like, it's got to be very similar in people who have burnt and had to throw away the hooch.
Yeah, they had to clean up the act.
Yeah.
In order
to survive.
Yeah, to stay in the game. Yeah,
because poker's a physical. You know, they're talking about like when they're going through that run that he's in like a 64-hour run.
Yeah,
which is not a healthy way to live.
No, not at all. And on hot dogs.
Yeah.
Loser.
Does that hot dog cart just sit outside knowing there's a poker room there?
Right.
Is that guy just, is he
yeah,
poker
that was
food?
like early hot dog. That's not right. Should have been like one of those early bodega shitty coffee carts.
Well, it's very Manhattan. That's one thing that the movie does really touch on is that like 90s Manhattan when there was still a shitty side to Manhattan.
Yeah.
And there were still parts of Manhattan that you could walk in and be like, oh, this is what they call a bad block. And that doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah, what's the worst block in Manhattan now?
Probably somewhere you get down Lower East Side-y.
Yeah, maybe Alphabet City.
Yeah.
But still,
everything's fine now.
Everything's safe.
Thanks, Giuliani. You did
Thanks
it.
for making homelessness illegal. I hope you have a terrible, terrible, terrible cancer.
I hope the rest of your life matches your dentist.
Did you see that Wild Wild Country?
I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, I can't. I let my not to spoil it. Do you want to? Maybe I shouldn't spoil it.
Spoil it. The cult loses.
They bust.
Yeah, I assume so.
They
Otherwise,
bust in homeless people to like vote in an election. And so they like put them, they're like housing and feeding them, but they're obviously getting a lot of like psychopathic, like bad problem psychosis, need help people who they can't. So like they realize they have a problem and they end up like bussing them out into town. And there's just these crazy.
Hey man, it's a playbook.
Yeah.
Right. That's.
So
what are you gonna?
Yeah.
What would you do with a bus full of homeless psychotics?
I'd start a company.
I would release them at a high school play, like just near the stage door, so they could just wander onto the stage.
The Opie and Anthony show used to do a homeless shopping spree.
Oh,
where they would take like 5 or 6 homeless dudes and take them on like $1,000 shopping sprees all around Manhattan. Or like malls of New Jersey.
Yeah, let's just buy crack.
Spree over.
Yeah, what can I sell the easiest? Can I keep the receipt?
Can you edit out the fact that I talked about Opie and Anthony on this podcast, please?
Sure.
Thank
Ron, noted Anthony Cumia fan.
Oh.
We got to keep that bit. I had a nice riff off
That's
it.
fine, as long as we can keep the fact that I hope Anthony Cumia dies of a very painful cancer as well.
Okay. Do you guys have any final thoughts on this? I think we're at time.
I think this movie would probably be considered a little bit higher if it was just not such of a niche movie. Like hearing you guys talk poker launch off the scenes, like it's made for such a core demographic. And those who connect with it will really love it. But if you don't give a shit about poker, if you've never played cards, it's still wonderfully written. It's the mark of like two great craftsmen at the beginning of their career. And it's really fun to watch two young actors just stepping into their prime, like
It reminds you of
Ed Norton
Billions,
and
yeah.
Matt Damon.
Also, poker by its nature, watching people play cards is boring.
So boring.
But they did a fantastic job of making it really invigorating and really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I mean, it launched a poker revolution.
Right.
And, sort of in the way that, The Social Network, really exciting movie. Those dudes were coding.
Yeah.
Coding could not be a less exciting thing to watch on TV, on a screen. But, when you can make that interesting and invigorating, that's what you've done a good job.
Yeah, that's an interesting comparison to Social Network, because even like the dialogue pattern is like so similar. It's all just like sharp and pulled together as tight as can be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're both so technically sound movies that make it fun that both of these movies you would see in a substitute teacher's class in high school, covering something.
There's so many tits in this movie. There's like multiple whorehouse scenes.
But I feel like,
I mean, it's just whores doing cocaine off each other's tits. That's it.
But yeah. So,
Matt, do you have any final thoughts?
thank you for asking. This movie was great for me, especially because like this reminds me of like being 15, 16. This got me into poker. My father didn't teach me poker. Like my friends and I grew up watching this movie and we loved Matt Damon. So I just want to say thank you.
Me and my friends, we
Harvey
loved
Weinstein
Matt Damon
for showing us the game of poker. I think that this movie made it fun. Like you said, you guys nailed all the points already. And like Matt Damon, I don't know that they knew he was going to be as big a star as he was. And it just kind of helped that he was like already like shooting up, and like this movie, I don't think hurt him at all.
Yeah, and it's nice that like we live in kind of like a reactionary society now. Like everyone's kind of strict. Like I'll mention like just betting like $50 on a basketball game. People are like, oh, what? And it's nice to see something that like captures the joy and the energy in a vice.
Yeah, they did it. They certainly did it.
So let's go gamble.
Yeah.
You're on.
Brooklyn Ryan, you got anything to plug?
No. Go support Joel Wachowski. Do live comedy.
Yo, what up? This comes out on the 9th. Oh no, I did 2 shows last night. Oh, I'm at Kent Street Ale House on Wednesday. I might be at Skankfest on Sunday for the Naked Roast. I can't decide whether or not to cancel it.
I would cancel that.
Really?
Is it art?
You can put me in the corner of the people who don't want to see naked people do stand-up comedy.
It's not stand-up. It's roast battle.
Yeah, regardless.
I'll roast anybody.
I don't need to see.
seems like
I don't,
it's a
I don't need to
not.
see testicles while I'm watching comedy.
Right.
All right, so I might cancel that gig. I'm really conflicted.
No,
about
just
it.
explain to me why a naked roast is funny.
Joel, I'll let you tackle that one.
Because I'm the best in the world, and I want to.
No. I want to, as a concept.
It's a premise.
I don't-
Why
How
is
does it
a
work?
naked? Why is a naked roast? Why?
Well, I have.
Why naked stand-up comedy? Why what the naked? What? What is that doing?
I don't care for it, but I pride myself on being the Cal Ripken of roast battle. Like I'll always show up when I'm asked.
I don't know if that's what Cal Ripken was known for.
being boring and having bright blue eyes, just like me.
All right. Well, that was the episode.
I'm eating Rice Krispie treats, motherfuckers.
Yeah, we're all eating these wonderful Rice Krispie treats.
I think they're Fruity Pebbles treats.
Yeah, Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, these are good.
They're so good. That was Rounders. Thank you for coming on, Ron.
I want to eat these when I'm on an LSD.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Follow Brooklyn Ron on Twitter. That's
I'm
his
Brooklyn
handle.
Ron at Twitter.
We'll have all this stuff in the episode description. And thanks for listening, everybody. Tell your friends.
Venmo my daughter Mimi. She needs your money.
Ooh, cool. What's your Venmo? Oh, damn.